Hi there, welcome back to On the Flip Side. My name is Adam Shawalker, your host. Today we're going to be going over the new Trivium album, In the Court of the Dragon. Over the years I haven't really been a big fan of Trivium. I knew plenty of people who absolutely loved Vengeance Falls and Silence in the Snow, but the appeal of this band was generally lost on me, but not for a lack of trying. So now with this new album I'm going to try my best and see if there's something here that I like. The first track on the album is X, a short minute-and-a-half long intro track that builds up some ambiance that sounds like they're dipping their toes into scoring like a movie or something, as the mix is very full sounding. This leads into the second track, which is the title track, In the Court of the Dragon, which kind of blows the momentum a bit with a weak scream and some boring riffs. The chorus sucks, and Matt Heafy's vocals are unvaried to a point that it's insultingly low effort. The rhythm section at the very least is very solid. I'm noticing that sound-wise the vocals are reaching into that modern tough macho guy delivery that so many modern radio metal bands just kind of shit out. Bands like Trivium or Volbeat or whatever other shit iHeartRadio plays on their metal stations. Also, the beatdown sections on this track are awful. Anyway, I've got more tracks to shit on, so the next song is Like a Sword Over Damocles, which admittedly does have a better intro riff than I was expecting, but it's pretty much ruined with the addition of chanting in the mix, and then it just kind of falls apart into what I would describe as like Trivium doing a mix of Slipknot and Disturbed. I mean, it's comically bad. The chorus is sucking the dick of Stone Sour to an extreme extent. I mean, props to these guys for going all the way on being successful and pandering to the lowest common denominator, because I'm sure they're making good money from this trash. It's really disappointing. Next up is Feast of Fire. I actually saw Trivium perform this song live a couple months ago at the Metal Tour of the Year, and I am as underwhelmed now as I was then, and I was at the very front of the crowd. So this is some of the most dude bro metal I've ever heard. Also a tangent on seeing Trivium live, actually. Matt Heafy felt the need to stop the show to break up a fight between some fans, but man, honestly, if he had talked to any of his fans for more than 5 minutes like I had, he would have wished they had put each other in the hospital, because the people that show up for Trivium shows are embarrassingly stupid and shitty. Most of them are total assholes. The Venn diagram of modern metal culture and cringe culture is a fucking circle, dude. Tangent over, the Feast of Fire, sound-wise, is homogenous from every single track on the album so far, and I regret every second of listening to this because it's going beyond being so bad it's funny to just being awful. The next track is A Crisis of Revelation. More flat guitar riffs kick off this track at a blisteringly dull pace. Matt Heafy as a singer I think is trash, but to his credit, his lyric writing honestly isn't all that bad, and many of the lines in this song, as well as other songs on the album, would make pretty decent death metal or black metal lyrics. It almost makes me wonder if Trivium had gone down the route of extreme metal, that maybe we would get something worth listening to, but you know, who knows. This song has another cheap breakdown section that desperately wants to be heavier than it is, that leads into another of these Maiden meets deathcore solos that are almost really good, but are consistently held back by the fact that, you know, you need to oversaturate the music with solos to the point that all of them are okay, but none of them are all that great. The next song is The Shadow of the Abattoir, a 7-minute long song that begins to test the patience of the listener within 30 seconds of the beginning of the track. The lyrics, again, are fine. The delivery is mediocre, again, with what I would describe as Eddie Vedder meets James Hetfield doing Nothing Else Matters, but neither of them are in their vocal prime. The song kicks into a higher gear for a big symphonic moment that can only be described as bad, then falls back into our lovely flannel-wrapped verses. God, man, this just sucks. At this point in the album, I really don't understand the people that are still enjoying, you know, or would be enjoying this listen. It's just really, really mediocre track after mediocre track. Up next is No Way Back, Just Through. This song, within 5 seconds, is immediately guilty of every tacky trope in modern metal. I mean, holy shit, it's like they're on a mission to write the blandest, flattest album that they possibly could. The chorus is a glorified Nickelback delivery shit show, and everything between is the loosest definition of heavy I could possibly use. I mean, this is polite music that you could play in a doctor's office. It's embarrassing. The next track is Fall Into Your Hands, the longest song on the album at almost 8 minutes long. This song does start off with some drums that are actually really great. They play off some of the guitar riffs really nicely, but are interrupted by more mediocre vocals. Also, I'm not sure if it's the lead guitar player or if it's Matt Heafy's tone, but the tone of the second guitar that comes in after that intro is some of the worst fucking tone I've ever heard on any record. It sounds like absolute shit, and I would have pointed it out earlier on the record, but this is the most obvious example so far of the two different tones that they're using. The heavy tone is just trash. Also, I do want to point out that during the bridge, they rhyme sky with sky. You're welcome for pointing that out because you'll always notice it now. Shit writing. The next track is From Dawn to Decadence. As far as songs in this album go, this is one I have enjoyed the most so far, despite Matt Heafy's vocals and the chorus. It's really sad when you have tracks like this, where you can tell that there's some real brilliance and potential here buried deep down, but it's just rolled right over by a couple of very in-your-face things, namely the fact that Matt Heafy is an awful singer and writer, and Trivium as a band is just so very, very close to being excellent, and this song is a prime example of that. The final song is The Phalanx. This song kind of gets me a bit because they unveiled this song as a promo for the new Elder Scrolls Online expansion, which, I mean, if you want like a quality product, partnering with Bethesda is probably a bad idea, but other than that goofiness, this song is one of the most focused on the album, and despite the fact that I'm not a big fan of this track, it's, at least consistent, so the one really big problem is probably the track length. This song, like the rest of the album, drags pretty hard, and it really, it isn't worth its payoff. The solos are again very tame, the riffs are weak, the heaviness, the anger, and the ferocity is all clearly manufactured. There's not really a moment during this song, or really this whole album, that seems genuine, and I think that may be the biggest problem of all. So for all of the shit that I've talked in this album, the nicest thing that I could think to say is that the drummer for Trivium is world class, and his work on this album is brilliant. As for everything else about the album, though, it's one of the worst albums I've listened to in years, and I have no plans of revisiting this one. In the Court of the Dragon is a solid 2. Thanks all so much for watching. Follow the show on Instagram and check out the show's Reverb store. The links to those are both in the description below. If you liked this review, leave a like and consider subscribing. If you hated this review and you hate me for trashing on this band, please leave a comment below. This is my opinion, and if you got enjoyment out of the album, then I'm really glad it wasn't wasted on you like it was wasted on me. Thank you all so much again, and we'll see you on the flip side.